Hi everyone, welcome to Yachting International Radio. You're with Karine Rayson from the Crew Coach on Your Mental Health. And I have a wonderful guest expert with us today, a medical herbalist. And we're going to focus on your well-being in a physical sense, which naturally develops in a more mental capacity as well as an emotional capacity. And Pamela, she also, and in addition to what she does as a medical herbalist, she is a global expert herbalist for Twinings Tea. Isn't that amazing? So Pamela, welcome to Yachting International Radio. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah, we were chatting before about things that I could bring that would be helpful. I tend to be a really practical herbalist. So you know, a medical herbalist is slightly different to other people. We differentiate ourselves because we do have medical training. So we're trained to about the same level as a family doctor, really, you would say. And so we run face-to-face clinics. But I also do a lot of talks and a lot of writing. I turn up in the media sometimes, and I run an online community as well. And I'm really about helping people who are really busy to improve their health in really simple ways. So we've been chatting a bit about some of the stresses and strains that happen to people in your area. And I think I hope there's some good tips that I can give people today as to how they can easily probably take things with them. So I'm quite renowned for when I'm traveling, because previously I did a lot of traveling for Twinings, for example, and I always have a pack of stuff with me for every eventuality. I think that sometimes when we're away from home, it can feel really difficult to access the things we normally would to support our health. But actually, you can take some stuff with you that really is it's easy to access for you, because obviously space is going to be an issue and what you can take is going to be an issue.
It's a huge,
and I think when people are working really hard and they're away from home, you know, any kind of you may not be the kind of person who feels anxious or stressed, but any change like that is a stress for the body, whether it's felt as stress or not. Any kind of change is stressful. So for example, if you were going from where you live, it's winter, and you're suddenly going out into the summertime, that change of season is a stress for the body. So you might find that you know, for example, when we swap from winter into springtime, there's a lot of coughs and colds go around. When we swap particularly from a summertime into an autumn time, there's a lot of things there, because the immune system is under a bit of excess pressure. When your job is really pressured, or you're maybe not sleeping as you might do at home, or you are working really long hours, then that really starts to impact on so many systems of the body, every system of the body, really. So it can impact on your immunity, it can impact on your digestion, it can impact on your sleep, it can impact on your mental health. So I think that, you know, my background is my career previous to this. So I've been in clinical practice now for 14, 15 years. Previous to that, I worked in the film and television industry. So really high pressure, really high stress. We worked stupidly long days. We didn't really get any time out. And you went from one job to the next, to the next, to the next. You were often away on location. So I've kind of lived a similar, you know, obviously there's restrictions around yachting, like I didn't have to pack everything in a tiny bag, but at the same time, I've lived that life and I know what it can do. And it's through living that life that I really started to get interested in herbs and what I could do with them. So looking at the different areas where there might be issues, one of the things I would really ask people, first of all, to consider is that rather than just reaching for another cup of coffee or another cup of tea to fire them up, is that you could actually use your hot drinks as a medicine, if you like. So, and that would mean using herbal teas instead. So when we are under stress and we're constantly taking caffeine, it's a bit like poking our adrenal glands that are in charge of our stress response with a knitting needle. So if you're feeling anxious, you know that way sometimes if you drink too much coffee and you get really jittery. So that's a sign that your adrenals are struggling a bit. That's a sign that your stress levels have been high for quite a long time.
Okay.
And they could do with some support.
Yeah.
So one of the things we would do is try to reduce the caffeine down. I wouldn't stop caffeine dead, because if you do, you will get the mother of all the headaches.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's horrible. And the only thing that will take that away is more caffeine. It's a withdrawal, but that can tell you how addicted you are to that, that spike of energy. So what you can do, though, is you can start to swap out 1 or 2 cups a day for something that's more supportive. And you can take tea bags with you. I do that all the time. So I have like a little bag with different things in there. So one of my absolute go-to herbs, for example, would be chamomile. Okay. So chamomile, we all think of it as being really...
For sleeping. Like
a bit boring.
Yeah, but
yeah, for sleeping, but it does so much more than that. Yeah, so so chamomile tea, and chamomile's used now by tea companies who are doing huge work in creating blends that are really that really taste good, as well as deliver on good herbs. So it used to be that you would smell these amazing herbal teas and the taste would be like nothing. Now they're working super hard to make them taste great. So chamomile's often used as the base of a blend of herbs that would be for relaxation, for example. But chamomile's really complicated. So it's really calming. It calms anxiety. If you get IBS, so you get upset tummy because of stress, IBS is always to do with stress. If you get cramps, it's really good for abdominal cramps. It's good for period pain, but it also is really good to help you sleep. So there is a chemical in chamomile called apigenin, and it binds to the sleep receptors in your brain. So it helps prepare you to sleep. So a lot of people dismiss chamomile as being kind of, oh, you know, it's just a herb. It's a really powerful medicine. It also really helps skin conditions. So, for example, for me, if I've got chamomile with me, and I sometimes get, when I'm traveling a lot in the air conditioning, I can get really dry eyes.
Yeah.
So sometimes the chamomile, I will make up a hot infusion and drink that, and then take the cooled tea bags and put them on my eyes, because that's really soothing. It's also antibacterial. So if I feel like, you know, I've got a skin thing going on, I can use it for that. So you see what I mean? That one tea bag that takes up a tiny bit of space, suddenly I've got all this potential, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you are, so you might think as well about, so for example, when you're traveling, and immunity is being impacted, because when we have high stress levels, or just even chronically raised stress levels, like being away from home would chronically raise your stress levels. Your immune system just doesn't function as it would do. And so you know what it's like, you're far away from home and you get that moment that you swallow and think, oh no, I've got something. You know, and herbs are really great at getting right in at the beginning of when your body needs to mount its own defense against a sore throat or a cold or whatever. So you can also use herbs very much in that space. So for that, the thing I would never travel without is a tincture. So that's like an alcohol extract. So you can buy them in, you know, little bottles, usually 100 ml bottles, of Echinacea.
Okay.
So Echinacea is available, you know, it's one of those herbs that's leapt from, you know, the dusty depths of some herbalist's, you know, dispensary out into the world, and it's become really famous. It actually originated in North America as snake bite medicine. This is really strong medicine. And what Echinacea does is it actually raises your white blood cell count. So we know that when we, and your white blood cells are what fight infection. So we know that if you take Echinacea at the beginning of, you know, feeling like you've got a cold or a sore throat or something coming on, it will increase your body's immune defense system. It will kick it into action quickly. And it also has an antiviral component. So if it's, you know, if you have a virus, it's, you know, it may be able to, for some of them at least, it may be able to actually kill the virus and delay that from happening.